Today we're going to look at the trends from training camp and analyze the rookies, see what they're doing. We're going to talk redraft, get you ready for your fantasy teams, but we're also going to dabble in a splash of Dynasty because you know what? I just sat here and thought it was a good idea, and that's what we're going to do. But we're going to talk about these players for fantasy football, look at these rookies, see what they're doing at training camp. But before we dig in, you must click that subscribe button right now because we're talking about these rookies every day. We're looking at them, what they're doing in training camp. We're covering the clips. Then every day, we're talking about a ton of players, helping you get ready for drafts, helping you build your dynasty teams, helping you win your redraft leagues, and everything else. This is a huge channel that covers a lot of different things. You need to click that subscribe button right now if you want to win your leagues. But we're going to start off with our first rookie today, and we're going to be looking at Keon Coleman. Round 7 draft capital on Underdog. Fairly good priced in Dynasty. ADP 172 in redraft right now. And it's wide receiver heavy on Underdog. So he will be a shade cheaper in your traditional redraft leagues. Keon Coleman is flashing in training camp. Pairs well with Josh Allen. I kind of expected this. I expect the value just to creep up throughout the weeks, throughout training camp. I look for Keon Coleman to get more expensive. He's going in the range where you're just taking a stab at a young wide receiver, hoping that he hits his upside. Everybody in his round, Brian Thomas Jr., who we'll talk about soon, Jag Smith-Njigba, Jordan Addison, Keon Coleman. That's an asset class right there. Young wide receivers with some upside to their name that could possibly hit this season. That's where he's going in the draft. That's where people are selecting him. Keon Coleman is flashing in training camp. Javon Baker's going off. Sound alarm. Javon Baker is going off. Get him in Dynasty. Get him in redraft. He's cheap right now. Round 17. That's going up. That is going up. Round 17. That's old news. He is jumping rounds by the minute. I guarantee it. And I told you, one of these rookie wide receivers for the Patriots going to increase in value. Dynasty, redraft. People are going to start taking Javon Baker seriously. He was splashing with plays this week. Looking good in training camp. Javon Baker's on the move. I would pay a little bit more. But in redraft, this is the area where I'm hammering running backs, trying to catch that upside at the running back position because I want to be built at wide receiver at the start of the draft. I want to be hammered up at wide receiver at the start of the draft. So I do like Javon Baker, and I will have tons of shares in Dynasty. In redraft, due to my roster construction, I will have a bit in my portfolio. But honestly, in this part of the draft, I'm rocking running backs. But I will take some stabs at Javon Baker. But really depending on where you're built and how you're built in your team at this part of the draft, whether or not you go for a wide receiver like this in redraft. If you want some upside flyers at wide receiver, this might be the guy to go for. This might be the guy to do it with. I mean, I'd rather take that upside risk than Tyler Boyd or Tez Walker, Darius Slayton. I would rather do that. I think that's a smart idea. Javon Baker's on the rise, though. Ricky Pearsall's back at practice. He's looking smooth. He's making cuts. Round 12 draft capital. I look for him to hover around there unless something happens to Ayuk or Debo. Just not enough targets to go around. But he might be looking like a guy you're picking up off waivers during the season. So if you want him as just a stash in double-digit rounds, go ahead. Like I just said, I'm probably slamming running backs in this area due to my strategies, due to how I play the game. But if I'm not built at wide receiver and I do need to take some upside, or if the running backs where I'm at in the draft is like, and I can wait another round or two, and then I'll go Ricky Pearsall, or I'll go Jahan Dotson. I like him. Jalen Polk. There's some upside in that round 12 range of Underdog, round 13, 14 in traditional redraft that you may look at. And Josh Downs is there. Xavier Legette. So there's a lot of possibilities to turn to. Trey Benson. Looking good in training camp. Lots of upside. Get him in Dynasty. Get him in redraft. I like him in round 10 here at Underdog. Probably a little bit more expensive in traditional redraft depending on your league because home leagues might push down rookies a little bit or it might bump him up due to him being a running back. In Dynasty, he's like RB15 in ADP. I think that's cheap, for a rookie running back with 4.3 speed in an offense that has Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray and James Conner is going to teach him some stuff before he rolls out. I think Trey Benson is a guy that might emerge this season due to attrition because that's what happens with running backs. At round 10 draft capital, he's a wait and see. You're holding as long as possible, but I love the upside play of Trey Benson in round 10. Double-digit draft capital of a guy with 4.3 speed that could get opportunity somewhere down the line. Jalen McMillan's getting opportunity, and this offense is very interesting because there are rumors, and I've said this in multiple videos, but different people are coming to the channel as we get closer to draft season. Chris Godwin, rumor has it, or the news, that he's going to be in the slot more. And when he is in the slot more, it's usually around 70+%. And if that happens, you got to have a third wide receiver on the field, or he's on the outside, right? So Jalen McMillan drafted in the 3rd round. They have other guys on the roster that could take that role. But McMillan, crafty route runner, good hands, can create separation. Probably would have been drafted a little higher if this draft was not stacked at wide receiver. You're catching him at a good discount in ADP and underdog, considering he could be a bounce-up player, considering if something happens to one of these 2 wide receivers. These are 2 older wide receivers, not old, but older wide receivers. And football is football, attrition happens. And he's a guy, if you're looking for a wide receiver to come out of nowhere, if you're looking for that, I would not call anybody the next Puka Nacua because that's downright stupid. Anybody that has that anywhere is stupid. But Jalen McMillan, if you're looking for a player to come out of nowhere, exceed expectations for the season or for a good bit of it, this could be it. Good route runner, can get downfield, good size adjusted athleticism with a quarterback that pushes it downfield. If you want a wild card, this might be it for you. Brian Thomas Jr. looking good. Gets downfield, 4.3 speed in the great situation. Round 7 draft capital, though, but he's going in that round, like I said, where people are taking that gamble. This is also the part of the draft where you want to go running back, especially if you're going pure RB or shallow 0 RB, and you're going after these RBs here in this range, like an Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, getting your RB2, getting your RB1, trying to get a running back that's getting opportunity on the cheap here. Round 7 is where the rubber's meeting the road. You can catch one in round 8, but that's underdog ADP. So those running backs are going to go up a little bit in traditional home leagues. Brian Thomas Jr., though, if he falls to you, you're getting a first-round pick, 4.3 speed with a quarterback that likes to throw it deep. A great lottery ticket for the year. Ladd McConkey's another great lottery ticket. He's cheap. He's too damn cheap for underdog. He is too damn cheap on round 6 because when you really look at the pathway for targets here, I do not see Quentin Johnston really beating him out. Palmer might, but when you're looking at McConkey here, 4.3 speed, creates separation. The offense might be a little bit slower this year. He's in that range where people are shooting for upside. But considering where he's at and considering where he will be at in your home league drafts, because that's more like round 7, 8, and 9, that's a good value if you're shooting for upside because remember, he's connected with Justin Herbert here. He's going to get good targets going his way. They drafted him this high for a reason. He's got speed to burn, and he's already looking good in training camp. He has made a few great catches, and I will have a video out soon on Ladd McConkey. Hopefully I get more clips on him to add to it, but Ladd McConkey's looking good. Braelon Allen, RB2 for the Jets. Just pencil him in there. He's going to be above Izzy. He's going to be above Isaiah. He's going to be beating out Tariq Cohen. Unless Tariq Cohen's being like a 1B for the speed factor. Braelon Allen, if something happens to Breece Hall, he's next man up. If you're looking for a handcuff from the Jets, it's probably going to be Braelon Allen. From what I've seen from the clips, I could be wrong. RB63, ADP dirt cheap, probably not getting drafted in many leagues. If you're looking for a backup for Breece Hall, you made that investment. Now in your last rounds, you're just wanting that handcuff just because you want it. You want that insurance policy. Probably this guy. Remember, this guy was pegged as like a first round, top end, second round prospect early in his career, 2021, 2022. Played with an ankle injury last year. They were asking him about the ankle injury this spring. This spring, they were asking him. That's how long it was lingering. Now we're healthy. We're looking like we got the pop back in the step. We're moving more fluid. We're moving more natural. Braelon Allen, if something happens to Breece Hall, or he could be sneaky with goal line touches or something like that. I'm not saying to get him, but do what you want to do with him. Marvin Harrison Jr. It's kind of quiet, but he is making plays on the field because the Arizona media does not get the same access as the media from all the other teams. Sometimes they're shooting from the parking lot, it looks like, and they got to zoom in the cameras. It looks horrid. We see that in minicamp. But Marvin Harrison Jr., if he was on any other team, you'd probably be seeing clip after clip after clip. I will have another video out on him today or tomorrow, and that's going to have more clips. That should be like my third video on him, but that's letting us know that he's still getting a lot of opportunity, still making plays. He's got good length. He's looking solid. Do not discount him. The market's got him pumped up a bit, but really when you look at the second round, you look at his opportunity, I'm not really 100% against paying that premium. But when we look at Malik Nabers, a good albatross, because he's in a grand situation. He's a little bit cheaper, so you can get your vet, get your Malik Nabers, who is very similar in talent, who should have a very similar path to productivity and workload, and you're catching him a little bit cheaper. So maybe you can get your veteran, and then you get your Malik Nabers. You're good to go. You got your upside that's in lock for some good production. He is going off in training camp. He's making a play every day. That's wowing everybody. And there are different plays in different situations. 11 versus 11s, 1v1s, drills. He's looking different when he's running with other wide receivers in drills. This is a generational prospect. Don't sleep on him because he's a rookie. He might be a little bit cheaper in your home league, maybe 4th or 5th round. If that happens, you better draft him. You better draft him. You better be good at running back. Get your Malik Nabers. He'll be your wide receiver 2. You might be getting Justin Jefferson numbers out of him. Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy, wide receiver 38 and ADP round 6. Again, this is the area of the draft where people are taking their stabs at value here, trying to catch that upside. There's a ton of upside here. He is balling out at Chiefs camp. He's looking good. He's building a rapport with Patrick Mahomes, and I want some of that. 4.2 speed, middle of the rounds, upside for days. You're pulling lottery tickets out. You want a Worthy one or a Rothy one. Xavier Legette's looking good. He's making plays. These rookies are always looking good, it sounds like, but that's not always the case. Remember, this rookie class had about 20 wide receivers with day 2 grades or better. That is rare. That is why this list is so big, and there's more that I'm probably leaving out. But honestly, I'm just going off of who I looked at recently on the clips and what I've been paying attention to. Xavier Legette, 4.3 speed. He is cheap. He's got upside. Round 12, actually, draft capital here. Wide receiver 66 in ADP. ADP 141 off the board. So he's dirt cheap. He's going to be dirt cheap in traditional redraft too, because Underdog just plucks wide receivers. That being said, if you're looking for upside, go ahead. At that part of the draft, I'm pounding running backs. I'm getting good at the running back position. I might be going 0 tight end, depending on how the values win at tight end in the league. Xavier Legette, though, if you're looking for upside, he's got a ton of it. Blake Corum, round 11 ADP, RB36 off the board. I'm trying to get him in a lot of redraft leagues. We know the Rams are going to be using their running back. Kyren Williams is probably going to get a lot of the workload, but it's going to be hard for him to hold up. That's why they got Blake Corum, and he's very similar to Kyren Williams. He's a lunch pail running back. He's got a lot of gusto to his game. He's going to get you more than what's blocked. He's good out of the backfield, good in pass protection, just like Blake Corum. Just a little bit more jazzed up with the speed and the feet, actually. A little bit more juice. Younger. We had a ramp-up period last year due to the injury the year prior. One of the most productive running backs in college football. I think this is a great deal. He's NFL ready. He's been NFL ready for 2 years, but the knee injury. He's good to go. I think he's going to be a great addition for the Rams for the long term. Blake Corum is a guy you need to get in all formats. Troy Franklin, again, looking good. The coaching staff's talking him up in the media. He's got speed to burn. He's a very smart wide receiver. That's one of the things that came up during the press conferences. That's one of the things I hammered home during draft season. A very smart, nuanced wide receiver. That's going to allow him to get on the field. This is an ambiguous depth chart at wide receiver. He could be stepping on in during the middle of the season. You're probably going to pluck him off waivers somewhere down the line, or at least look at him. Odunze, we're talking about him late because I was just throwing this together, but wide receiver 39, round 6 draft capital, same as the other rookie wide receivers. But the funny thing about this, you got a top tier wide receiver when it comes to talent in round 6. This is the guy you're blowing your wad on in round 6 due to the upside. Keenan Allen's saying damn good things about him. I have a video on that. It was a few weeks ago saying that he is ahead of schedule when it comes to development for a rookie, especially ahead of Keenan Allen when he was coming out. And he just does not say things in the media. He's kind of a quiet wide receiver. He's very reserved, especially for a wide receiver. At least that's how wide receivers are portrayed. Odunze, Pac-12 After Dark. We called him Midnight Marvin Harrison Jr. here on the East Coast because he was racking up plays left and right, making highlights. This guy can get downfield, good size, just athleticism. At the combine, he ran a 3-cone all night because he wasn't satisfied with his time. He could gel quickly. He's looking good at training camp. He's looking great in training camp with Caleb Williams, making play after play. Those two got a rapport. You know it's coming. I believe he has a chance to surprise all you guys. Round 6 is pretty cheap considering the talent. Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver 59, round 11 draft capital. I'm going running back in this location. There's upside here, but the offense, Jonathan Taylor, AR-15, that is where the fuel is going to be. Michael Pittman this year is probably going to get around a 25% target share. Josh Downs is good. So his upside or his floor. His floor is going to be limited due to that, but he could give you some splash weeks. I would look at him as a splash week dandy, but honestly, in this part of the draft, I am looking at running back. He is splashing good at training camp, though. He has made some highlight reel catches. Something to take note of. He does have good speed to burn that pairs well with AR-15, so that could be fun to watch. Roman Wilson making plays, jacked up, twitched up around the short to intermediate, and still making plays downfield. We got speed to burn. Round 15 draft capital looks like down here, and then wide receiver 77 off the board. It says round 11 up there for some reason, but we're falling deep in drafts. We're making plays happen. Could be a sneaky guy if this passing offense has to push it, but we do have some matchups this year that could slow down the pace. On top of that, these quarterbacks might have a slower pace. The OC might slow down the pace, Arthur Smith, but Roman Wilson has some upside to his game that you may want to pay attention to. Again, at this part of the draft, I'm taking upside stabs at running back, but wide receiver, if you want to take an upside play, here's another one for you. Caleb Williams, QB 13, valued as a QB 2 in redraft right now. Dynasty 2 QB, values to the moon. Don't really need to talk about that. Looking good in training camp, looking like a veteran, making those off-platform throws, sidearm throws, looking good, very composed, and he has the weapons around him. Sounds expensive, but we're in round 10, so a good spot if you want to shoot for upside here and just get another quarterback afterwards, or if it doesn't work out, you always have the waiver wire to stream off of. He's looking good in training camp. He's got a lot of upside, and I think with DJ Moore and company there, DeAndre Swift at running back with the speed and pop, you got Herbert there as well. They got a lot of weapons here in Chicago. Would not be surprised if he hits. Those are 20 rookies that we're looking at today. A lot of these guys are doing good in training camp because we got a good quarterback class. We got a good wide receiver class. We got some good running backs this year. This is one of the better rookie classes we've seen come out for the draft in quite some time. We have about 20 good wide receivers in this year's draft. Some of them fell in the draft a little bit because of the economics. There were so many. And then we had some of them get pushed up in the top of the first round, considered generational prospects. And then we have a lot of good wide receivers just sprinkled in. And there were some more that I did not talk about, which I have to talk about later. So there's going to be more videos. So you're going to have to click that subscribe button right now so you can catch those at the later time when I do post that video. But I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.